Make sure we're straight here.
Hmm?
I'll point
What's
to
going on,
what it.
fellas? Good to see you back, Deke, in the house. How you been, brother? Oh, God is good to me. I got
Okay.
it. God is so good. I ain't got everything good. That's because of God, though. My relationship with Him, everything good.
Well, let
You
me ask you
know?
this. Let me
Yes,
ask you this,
sir.
Derek. Since we just starting, you back with us. Audience gets to get to know you again. So
Yes.
man, I'm gonna ask you something, brother.
Yes. Go right ahead. I love it.
What you working on?
Ah, well, I'm working on. I'm gonna start with this because this is probably the best thing I'm working on. Everybody should hear this really closely. I'm working on my relationship with the Lord. So the
Bravo,
more I
bravo.
do, the more I do that, the energy, I can just feel it.
Yes.
I can just feel it in me. It's so powerful, it's
Yes.
so overwhelming. The funny part, and Myron talks about this a lot too, about because I'm so like connected, my is really connected. And if you ain't connected, you don't know what I'm talking about. But mine is so well connected to the true authority
Yes.
that it's hard for me to be around people
Mm.
because I'll be saying weird stuff. I'll be like, "How you doing?" My energy be too high, and they ask me, I'll be like, "Super fantastic." They be
Yep.
like, "Oh God, something wrong with him. His
Yeah.
frequency is my frequency is way high."
Yeah.
And then I'm
Yeah. I
dealing with
get it.
humans that they just want to fit in with everyone else. They don't want no high free. They don't want to be seen. They want to be invisible. I don't know what they got going. But what
Mm-hmm.
I got going on with my God, I can't
Mm-hmm.
come down there. It's hard down
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't feel
Yeah.
comfortable down there with them. Well, I shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sound crazy, but that's really what it is. My frequency, the frequency my mind operates on because of my relationship with him. I just you can't deal with me and be a regular dude. You're gonna be like, hell, I don't like him. When I walk away, hell, hell, he always trying to be great. I had a
Maybe
student I
one.
met. I had a student I met the other day, and I'm doing my normal spell, and I'm like, "Where you go to school?" Well, I'm at the community college. I was like, "Well, you went to the same school my daughter went to, so I know y'all were challenged in high school." The
Mm-hmm.
school she go to is ridiculous as far as challenging students. I told you she had like a
Mm-hmm.
4.87. It was ranked
Mm.
315 in her class
Wow.
because there's that many elite scholars at her
Mm-hmm.
school. So she went to the school, and I was like, "Well, how'd you end up at the community college?" She was like, "Well, I graduated with like a 4.0, and my parents just wanted to keep me close, so they said, hey, just go over there to the community college." I was like, "So you didn't have a plan?" So I'm going into all this, and then I start talking to her about like, what's your relationship with God like? Because when I read the Bible, I don't see nothing in there that tells me that don't have aspirations.
Mm.
Don't like to be regular. Like God's word is like an automation to wealth. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like if you just follow it, like you just gotta follow him. So I was just talking to her like that. She was like, "Oh my God, wait till I talk to my parents tonight." I said, "Well, what you gonna ask them?" And she said, "I'm gonna ask them what you told me." I told her to ask them, "Hey, mom and dad, when I was born, were you looking at me and saying you're gonna be regular?" Hey, oh my, look at my kids. They're so regular. Yo, my kids is regular. They're gonna be the most regular. They're gonna be so normal. All they're gonna do is try to fit in and be like everybody else. I can't wait till they go to the community college.
There you go.
Can't wait. They're gonna be at that mother. They're gonna be at that Broward Community College, and then from there, they might can stay local again. Go to FIU, FAU, and we right here. We taking over Broward County, Florida, right here. She like, no. When I remember when I was young, they always wanted me to go to Harvard. And I was like, well, what happened? I mean, you ain't got to end up at Harvard, but what happened to, well, time and my friends didn't want to do, oh, ooh. So that's what I still deal with that. So it's just really about coaching and motivating others So I just really been focusing on that and just making sure I stay close to the cross. Make sure my line is straight so people hear me when I speak. Because they already going like stiff arm me because my energy level be too high. My frequency is clear. The closer
Tell
the
you what,
more
excuse
let me
me.
just
I tell you what, Derek. What you just said is the whole essence of what I strive to teach people.
Mhm.
Um, for those of you on watching who may not know, all of us here interact with people in a way that uplifts them. Me specifically, I work with dialysis patients, and dialysis itself drains energy. And my number one message, I'm gonna get it tattooed on my forehead for everyone I talk to, is energy comes from alignment. And that's exactly what you said. When I'm
Yeah.
on my lives, when I'm talking to people, I'm so fired up because I can't help it
Mhm.
because I'm aligned with him, which means I'm walking in my purpose and the assignment he gave me. And
Nice.
that's something that's so disconnected and counterintuitive to my people is when I tell them you're super duper fatigued and tired because you're not aligned with God. And they're like, "Ah, it don't make no sense. I'm tired because of this machine." I'm like, no, yes, the machine takes something out of us, but your life, everyday life, you don't have to be walking around fatigued. Once you do what God has called you to do, He's going to give you the energy to do it. I heard a great analogy from from a pastor, and that verse I think it's in Isaiah 40. It says, "Those that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint."
Mhm.
And he said, wait on the Lord in that verse isn't necessarily about waiting like time ticking. It's like waiting, like a waiter. He serves you. So when you serve the Lord and you wait on the Lord, that's how you get energy. And it's so true. I'm getting fired up just talking about it. Energy levels comes because I know that I'm doing what God has called me to do. And that's where the energy comes from alignment.
And let me just throw this Christian's way. Hey, Christian, how you feeling right now? You feel like you're in alignment with Mr. Operator Unlocked? Are you in alignment, sir?
So let's get real right now. No, okay.
Explain.
And where I'm coming from is that's going to happen in life,
Hmm?
okay? Because everything you guys are talking is true, right? But there's also peaks and valleys that happen along the way, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of having a discipline, okay? Look forward to keep you in line. That's what the framework's all about, right? So, and the reference material is all about. So it's all about if you have a good discipline that you can reference consistently, that you
Hmm.
know that you have hope in because you know you've seen it work before, right? You'll know you'll get through that thing that you're going through to get back to the other side of it, right? And so I'm at that today's that kind of day for me, right? To keep it fully transparent 100%. So yeah, that book that I wrote, I've been reading it, right? Because I needed
Hmm.
that to help me today, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, am I how am I feeling? Oh, I always feel great. There's no question about that. But how am I doing? That's another question, right? And so I am Mr. Operator Unlocked, but I'm very real so people understand. I use that framework intentionally and on purpose because it came from what I know, what how I've experienced these kinds of things before in my life. I can reflect on it and go through the framework to get me through it.
Mhm.
So if I brought the
That's
room down, I apologize, but let's keep it 100% today. Usually I'm the
that's
energetic one, but that's what it is, right?
that's what I think that's the essence of what we're doing here on YouTube is from a organic, authentic place. We know that in the age of artificial intelligence and people spamming social media content with AI, quote unquote, creations, people are starving for the authenticness. And I believe that's exactly what you just said. And for those of you new to the show, we don't script anything. We get on here, we look each other in the face, we say, "What you working on?" We talk about what we're working on, and that's how the conversation progresses. But we know that people watching will get immense value. Russell Brunson always says you only have to be one chapter ahead of the person you're helping, and we're speaking to the people who we're one chapter ahead of. And because we've been doing this life thing, we've been doing this business thing and this coaching thing for a little bit. We're fairly certain that we're a chapter ahead of a lot of people, and we can help them. And we can't help them coming on here with some scripted fake AI stuff, right? Not the AI. We love AI. We use AI in our businesses, but in something like this, we're attempting to help people and communicate value to people. We feel that it's best coming from something that's authentic. So what Christian just shared with you is that, yeah, we're not coming on here rah rah and hype up motivation. This is real life, and I believe Christian just gave you a piece of that. And it's just because we got it together. Peers, we look at us. We're on YouTube and we're talking and we got it all together. Now we have lives outside here. And the word says gonna face tribulations. But Jesus said, I overcame the world. So it's up to us, like Christian says, just to stay connected, like Derek said, stay connected, stay aligned, walk the path, jump those hurdles when they come, and get to the finish line.
Now I want to step into, I was listening to Derek when he talked about, he said people look at me like I'm crazy or something like that, right?
I love it.
One of the things is, you know, we're gonna go here because I do always talk through an operate unlocked framework. That's just my discipline because that's my life. But you're talking about environment, right? Because that's a driver of transformation, right? That's my final driver of transformation is changing of environment because the environment is what governs, right? The conditions that support or hinder progress, right? And so, one time, Troy called me one night. He was reading my book, and he said, I think we talked about it 2 episodes ago. Troy, he said, "What's that mean?" And I was like, being in the wrong environment can put you in a bad spot, right? Meaning it can take you down, right? Or it'll show you that you've now expanded beyond where you've been, and it's time to go somewhere else.
Mhm.
Right. And so that's why that driver is so important to it's important to recognize these drivers because then you'll know where you're at, where you're placed, and what's actually changing for you at the same time. Right.
Okay.
So Troy, I gotta ask you though, what you working on?
So
What you working on, Jesus boy?
so right now, I am working on, and this goes to what we talked about yesterday, Christian. Don't always got to be business, right? I'm working on creating um, a live stream for my church ministry. Right now, I'm the leader. My wife and I are the leaders of the media ministry for B Community Church, where we attend. And right now, we've been using to stream our services on YouTube and Facebook. We've been using a software called StreamYard. But if you're familiar with churches and church platforms, there's a major platform called Subsplash, and now they have the ability to stream from our app. So our app is run through a company called Subsplash, and now we can stream directly from our app. So that's what I'm going to be working on today is working on how to stream, set up everything so our church service streams live from our app. I'm also working on my live tonight. Every Wednesday, I go live on Facebook in the group called Dialysis Disciples. And today we're talking about dialysis is new, but something just feels off. So that's what we're going to be talking about for new people new to dialysis who just can't get their rhythm right. We want to help them out that way and talk about giving their energy back through alignment. So we have our master class coming up on May 3rd. So those are the things I'm working on. I'm looking forward to helping people. I believe that's why God put us here to help each other. Um, I've received my calling. I'm so grateful. I wrote a book called The 40-Day Spiritual Fast for Dialysis Patients. Like Christian, I wrote the book to use and listen to the book. So right now I'm on day 15 of my own 40-day fast, and God's just beginning to download from me. But when I did the fast the first time, that's when he gave me my calling and said, your calling is to help dialysis patients. As a 25-year plus dialysis patient, as a 2-time kidney transplant recipient and a 3-time cancer survivor. I believe he uniquely equipped me to be able to help people going through chronic conditions and anyone who just wants to level up their life. So that's what I'm working on.
That's
Nice.
amazing. Now,
Nice.
Troy, I got some questions in reference to it.
Sure.
So, what do you do if one of your clients, I guess I can call them,
Mhm.
if they are really have a close relationship with the Lord, and I may have spoken with you offline about this or previously, but how do you help someone who's so spiritual that they refuse medical attention? So someone said, you know what, I'm gonna just pray about I need a kidney, but I'm not gonna go to the doctor, I'm not gonna go to dialysis, I'm gonna just pray. How do you how does that work with a relationship with the Lord?
So I'm gonna steal one of Christian's answers to questions that I often give him, and he answers me simply, get the book. Christian, you want to show him? Get the book. Because that's gonna unlock. That's gonna
Exactly.
if they are really spiritual, right, then they're really gonna get a lot out of a 40-day spiritual fast. Because when you fast, excuse me, it cleanses. We all know what fasts do.
Right.
They remove all the toxins, all the negativity,
Hmm.
all the
Hmm.
non-alignment from your mind. Then once that happens, then as they go through the progress through the days, they're going to hear God tell them what to do. If they're really super spiritual, like you said, then they have a firm foundation and belief in the Father. So if He tells them to do something, they're going to be obedient to it. So to answer your question, the first thing I would have them do is to do a 40-day spiritual fast
What
and
does
see what the
fast
Lord tells them.
what does fasting mean according to your 40-day fast? Just give us a quick overview of what that looks
So
like.
So biblical fasting, right, means no food for 40 days.
Hmm?
Right? Jesus in the
Like nothing?
wilderness. Yeah, Jesus in
Like
the wilderness, biblical fasting. Jesus in the wilderness, 40 days, nothing. Right. But because you're on dialysis and we have a lot of issues with electrolytes and mineral imbalance, it's really detrimental for us to not eat any food. So what God had me create for dialysis patients is a spiritual fast. So each day you go through it's a part of my story, my journey to give you hope that you can make it because I'm here. Then there's a verse of the day, there's a devotional, then there's a fasting component and reflection questions, fasting component and a prayer. And each day you fast from something, maybe it's negative thoughts, maybe it's meat one day, right? Or maybe it's um fear. We fast from behaviors that are detrimental to our dialysis journey. There's a couple food fasts in there. There's a no sugar day. There's a no caffeine day, things like that. But it's mostly a behavioral fast. That's why I call it a spiritual fast. So I believe
oh,
that
so
that frees you up from so much in your mind, and you're just in the Word. You're proving to God. You're saying, Father, I'm here. He knows your heart. I'm intentionally sitting down and doing this for 40 days, and intentional taking 40 days out of my life and intentionally dedicated to listening and hearing you. And if someone is spiritual, that's gonna absolutely speak to them, I promise.
nice. Chris,
Yeah. So everything, it was interesting. So I was on Troy's show in Troy's on one of Troy's lives one day, about 2 months ago now, I guess, Troy, something like that,
Whatever you
right?
told me to, man.
And it's interesting. Everything, everything he tells his people to go through
he
it's
did
a
it.
transformation. It's the 5 drivers of transformation, right? He just walked it, right? And it's funny. I always look at Troy's book as mini. It's a Lent. It's a mini Lent within a Lent. Period. Right? Every day's
Mhm.
Lent, right? Its own Lent. You know what I mean? Um, but what people are going to do when they go through Troy's program, they're going to see and interpret their reality differently. Is that fair to say? They're going to they're going to change how they internally stand on things, right?
Absolutely.
They're going to change how they handle things, right? Because what's going to happen, because that's a capacity thing, right? That means they're getting rid of things that were in there, replacing with something new, right? And then they're going to go through what? They're going to go through their activity phase, and they're going to do things differently, aren't they, Troy?
Absolutely.
Right. And then that's where we talk about that last thing of the environment change. And we talked about this before, Derek, on the show. The environment isn't always a physical space, right? This is an environment up here as well, right? So that environment's going to change. And so Troy's taking him through his own unlock process, right? But it's that you go through those 5 drivers of transformation through Troy's process, right? And he specifically niched into his dialysis world. It's amazing.
I believe Derek does the same. I think we all do the same thing. I believe Derek unlocks people and changes their mindset too around school and education and how it aligns with their future. So so Christian, what you're doing in Operate Unlocked, what I'm doing with Dialysis Disciples and what Derek's doing with college now is all based on the principles of the Word of God, and it's all going to be used to elevate people. Is that fair to say, Derek?
Absolutely. I I never put a methodology behind what I do. I just do it because I've been
Mhm.
doing it for so long.
Mhm.
And but after learning from Christian and learning from you, tying that all together, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. All this time, I didn't realize my first call, I'm always unlocking, right? Everything's about unlocking, getting them to unlock so that they can find their purpose, right? And I just like how it's all coming together. And because truthfully, for especially for adults, maybe not so much for like teenagers, but if someone came to me and asked me, how do I unlock? The first two things, like how do I change? How do I unlock? How do I go a different way? How do I do this? How do I do that? First two things I would tell them to do is read your 2 books because it's gonna have a dramatic change on their life. There's gonna be change. Like whatever they're looking for with that's missing is gonna happen because they're unlocking and they're aligning with God. So or their spiritual self, right? So they just gotta read the books. Hold the 2 books up, Kristen, one more time, a little closer to the camera, in case anyone doesn't know about the 2 books.
Operate
So
Unlocked,
Operate
right?
Unlock.
And the Gifted Tome. Yeah, they know the book. They know Troy's book now. They know it. I
Right,
done held it up a few times, so they know the
right.
book.
Now, so my
Sales is
point,
listen. Since I've been holding the book up, his sales been going through the roof. He didn't want to tell you that. His sales are going through the roof, though.
that's
Okay.
excellent. That's excellent because we need to save souls. So that's amazing, right? And get people to align and do better. So I'm really happy about that. But definitely, uh, um, both of you really have uncovered something that can really help people unlock and get on track. And, hopefully we can save some lives and, definitely help people do better. So I'm encouraged by that. I'm excited about it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to looking at our comments and on our YouTube channel to find out a little bit more about what people are saying. I want everybody to feel free to reach out to me anytime, especially on anything life, but anything college and career related. You want to make changes, you want to come up with a plan, make sure you reach out to me. You can find me at www.collegenowmn.com. Check me out, come see me, talk to me, schedule some time with me, or any of these 2 other brothers here. And we'll make sure that we help you get on track and improve your life or help you accomplish the goals you set out for yourself.
So people always like to ask a question. What do you do?
Mhm.
What do you tell them, Troy? People ask,
What
hey, so what do you do?
do I do?
Mhm.
I'm a wise butt. So I say, what do I do? What do I do when? What do I like to go. I like to hang out with my grandbabies, hang out with my wife, travel with my wife.
Mhm.
But do you mean how do I make a living? Is that what you're asking? What do I do? what I do, I praise the Father, and I follow Him wherever He goes. That's what I do. But if you're asking me, how do I make money? Well, I coach dialysis patients, and I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. So, the Father has provided for me very, very well. But I spend my days um, being so that I can do and then I can have. So,
Yeah. So
um,
I asked you that question because that's how people phrase it, right? All the
yeah,
time.
right.
What do you do? I do a lot, man. What are you
Yeah,
asking
right.
me, right? Right. But if you're asking, like, but again, if we came down to, listen, I heard about this Dallas Disciples thing. What is it you do with that? Like, how do you do? What do you do with that? Like, what is your purpose behind that? What is actually
Okay.
doing,
So
right?
I help kidney warriors
Mhm.
regain their energy and their freedom so they can take their life back and live a full life of abundance while on dialysis. That's what I
No,
do.
that's right.
What do
Derek,
you
what you
do,
tell them?
Christian? Well,
Oh,
Derek, what do
all
you
right.
do?
Well, you know me.
Okay,
You
what do
know,
y'all? Tell me what y'all do.
yeah, yeah.
I,
Listen,
I mean,
I
mine
teach
is
people.
simple.
I
Go
teach
ahead.
people how to think at a level required for them to achieve what they think they can, and it
Mhm,
starts
Mhm.
with them, right?
mhm,
Go ahead,
mhm.
Deke. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, not at all. So I have a couple different answers for that. I got the real short one, then I got a long answer.
Yeah.
But the short answer that I always try to go with is I help students get into the right school and set them up for long-term success. That's my
Love it.
short answer, right?
Love it.
And if I
Well, that's
really
the
want to
real
go
answer.
with,
That's a real answer, though.
Yes,
That's a
sir.
yeah,
real answer, right? Because we know that's what you do. Like that's what it is, right? And if people can't comprehend off that, then that's a whole nother space you got to get into because that's in the face, hard hitting, real, truthful stuff, right?
mhm,
And it solves a problem. You know what I
mhm.
mean? What you saying is perfect. Because the next thing people gonna say to you is they're not gonna say, "Oh, that sucks." You know what I mean? I don't want that. You know what I mean? So I don't think you need another response personally. You
Nah,
know?
I do because, well, I mean, that really just tells them who I help and the outcome I create, right? But it's like for me, if people are not looking for like most families don't work with a college consultant. They don't work with an admissions consultant. Not everyone, right? They just trust students, trust their parents and their college counselors at the high school, and they just go where that all leads to, right? So for me, it's like, okay, I help kids find the right school and setting them up for long-term success. But then it's like I gotta ask the question, like what's the plan for your student, right? Or something like that. So I have to ask the question because everybody isn't looking to get their kid into Stanford or Harvard. They don't even know there's the difference between Stanford and Harvard and Kutztown University. They don't know there's a difference.
But I'm going to challenge you here because I think what you're getting to into those process right now.
Yeah, yeah, I am. I
Right?
am.
You're getting into process, right? And that's a whole different conversation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why I said as far as the what of college now and then that hits it. I mean, that hits it on the head right there, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's dope because to your point, who's working with most people aren't working with someone like you, right? And so when you say it that way, it's simple, it's hard, it makes sense, and it's intriguing, you know. So you're gonna be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, how can I be down? Right? That's the point. Listen, when you haven't been here, we told everybody like, yo, our dude will get you. No, no. Let me say it the way I normally say. It. Will bully you into the school that you
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
be in.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's keep
because
it all
that's
the way
true.
on it. Right? Will bully you
Yeah,
into the
that's
school
truthful.
into the school you need to be in. Right? So he's
Yeah,
I
bullying
told the
this. Let me
story to
just
Kaylin.
clarify. He's bullying the schools. Right? He's
yeah.
not bullying you. He's bullying the schools on your
Nah,
behalf.
truthfully, I'm bullying the parents too.
I know you are. I'll
No,
let you
no, they
say
hate me. No, they all get frustrated at some point. Like they like, I've never had nobody tell me no about my kid before. Right? Like, no, 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 I gotta do it.
it's gonna happen.
No, a good guy, Mr. Warren West out of the Lehigh Valley, when we were working with his daughter going to IMG and stuff. We
Yeah, I
had
told
some
that story,
battles.
Derek. I
Yeah,
told
yeah,
that
we
story.
had some battles. Like they was mad at me, him and her mother, like, well, why does she got to do that? And why does she got to do that? But it's funny because I have to be aggressive, right? Because I'm up against an entire public school system that when families talk to me or talk to a consultant, the public school system is equipped to tell that family, why are you listening to them? You could just go right here to this nice school. Look at all this. We got a water fountain at our school. Look at that water fountain. You could drink that water. You're gonna be smart like me, right? And like it's weird. Like I've had families that will tell me, "Oh yeah, my kid's going to the school at the corner because they just built a new building. Look at it. Look at those nice walls in there." Right? Like it's not about the curriculum and the outcomes. It's just really about how they feel and how the kid feels. Oh, my friends are there. Yeah, we're just going there. So I I take a coach's approach, right? Because you gotta, if I'm running summer camp for football, I'm not coming out there saying, hey, okay, guys, y'all ready to run? I'm like, let's move. Like it's gotta be some go. Yeah, let's go.
That's right. We talked
And
about that too.
that's how I talk to the parents. Like, let's go. Like your baby wasn't born to be regular. Let's go. Let's get them. Let's stretch their mind. All right. Let's send them to post grad because you had them at the sub-performing public school K through 12. Let's get them prepared for some top level work. Let's get them on a plan. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Everything is movement. Right. So I really enjoy what I do. I love what I do because I'm in alignment with the Lord.
And I'm gonna throw this in too because you haven't been on our show, so we're going to give you some time today, right? That's kind of how I'm looking at this thing because the other thing is Troy's got the lived experience through his program. I have my lived experience.
Mm-hmm.
You have yours too through your own program with your own kids, right? Go in.
Oh, well, my kids?
Let them know. Like, listen, this is not something that just came out of nowhere. This is real, and you apply it for your own self.
So I'm gonna tell you, I was thinking about this, and I might have mentioned this. So my very first student that I've ever had in this program was my high school girlfriend, like that I've ever worked with.
Now you got me thinking. So people don't know. I grew up around the corner from Derek, so now I got my wheels spin. I'm trying to figure out who that was, but go ahead.
And he's really needs probably to fast so he can let some more of that old memories come sweep back in his brain. So in high school, I actually was dating a distant relative of Christians in high school. And don't say no names. We don't want to put them out there.
Who that was, but go ahead.
And yeah, I think they are a distant relative of yours. But this wonderful young lady I think she was attending Easton High School, and she didn't have a place. She was at odds with her living situation at home. So I was able back in 1991 to pull her out of high school, move her down to Lynchburg, Virginia, to finish high school down there while I was a student at Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. So she ended up graduating from E.C. Glass High School in Lynchburg, Virginia, because I moved her from Easton, Pennsylvania down there, put her in the public school, and I was only 20 years of age. That's my very first student. Then my second student was in 1995, so about 4 years later. And my sister passed away from leukemia, and she had 2 boys. So I tried to get custody of both, got custody of one, brought him up to a place called Berwick, Pennsylvania. At Berwick, Pennsylvania, they had Round Police, and they were, at the time, the national champions for football. They had won back-to-back, I believe. I got a job at the field house working for the coach. And this is really how I learned my craft. So I got a job at the field house working for legendary Hall of Fame coach George Curry from Berwick, Pennsylvania. I got a job working in the old school field house where they had a field house sitting in the corner of the end zone. He put me on a little phone. Now I'm 23. I got skills with the phone already because I'm just blessed like that. But he puts me on the phone answering his phone. He's a Hall of Fame coach. That's the #1 football coach in America. And I'm answering his phone. It rings every second. It's a Division I coach calling him, and they got to go through me. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm young, hitting the phones up. But by the time, after like 2 months, I knew every Division I football coach in America because they were calling him. So anyway, I moved my nephew from, like, if y'all don't know, being from Eastern Pennsylvania, there's a lot of pride. You know, there's a lot of athletic pride. We probably got the best wrestling program in the whole entire nation. You know, we have a top football program, at least for the state of Pennsylvania. And we dominate in other sports, and the heavyweight champ of the whole world, knuckle up Larry Holmes, jab, 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 right? From our hometown. So it was a lot of pride, especially athletically. Not so much academically, but athletically, definitely we had a pride. So anyway, I pulled my nephew out of that place I graduated from, place my family, older brothers and sisters graduated, a lot of pride, Eastern pride. People from Bethlehem Freedom, they don't have that. People from Liberty, they don't have that. It's the I see you sitting up. It's the Eastern pride thing, right? So anyway, I pulled my nephew away from that Eastern pride. It was hard, right? And I moved him up to Berwick, Pennsylvania, where he left a program where he wasn't even the best player. He was 6'4", 235 naturally, but he wasn't the best player on that team. There were other outstanding individuals. So my nephew comes up there 2 years, he wins 2 national championships, 2 state championships. He gets a full ride to University of Michigan, University of Pitt, all of that, right? Now, his brother, who wouldn't come, and all of his friends, none of them got Division I offers. None of them. And my nephew wasn't the best one on the team. So his brother coming out, his brother was the Express Science Player of the Year for basketball. He was nice. He was all-state track. He was this all-world athlete. But he got a full, let me take that back. He got a full ride to the University of Florida. Jermaine Moore, coming out of high school. He had a full ride to the University of Florida and for football. And the only other football offer he got was Kutztown. So if you know, like I know, that athletic recruiting, that doesn't make any sense. You shouldn't get, because at the time, University of Florida was the #1 program in the nation for football. So it didn't make any sense. So my nephew at the time, again, I'm only 23 managing this because his mother's passed away and their dad is not involved at the time. So I'm managing all of this at a young age. So he graduates and he's going to go to Kutztown University because University of Florida would not allow him to play both sports. He wanted to play football and basketball. So I reach out to an outstanding person named Bobby Apgar, who at the time had went up to Maine Central Institute for post-grad, and then he had went to University of Rhode Island. I think he was their all-time leading wide receiver at the time, and then he was supposed to be going like first or second round in the draft. But at the time, I needed some help because in my mind, I felt my nephew, who scored 1,500 on his SATs out of 1,600, had like a 3.9, close to a 4.0 GPA, didn't have, and was being recruited by the University of Florida, didn't have no business at Kutztown. So the first thing I did was I got Bobby Apgar because I wanted to try to get him to post-grad or somewhere. Then I talked to Coach Curry about my nephew. And he was like, I can call Lou Holtz right now. I could call every coach in the country right now and they'll take your nephew, Jermaine. He ran a 4.3, 40. And I'm like, I know. I was like, but he has this Eastern pride. he can't get rid of that Eastern pride. And part of that is my fault because I raised him to have Eastern pride. And then my cousins raised me to have Eastern pride. So it's hard, right? So anyway, Bobby Apgar was instrumental in helping me get my nephew to Maine Central Institute. And I'm always thankful for Bobby for that. And why I'm a bully is because of what I learned during that process. So behind the scene, as I'm working this out with Bobby, speaking to the coaches at the age of 23 at Maine Central Institute, asking like, okay, he's trying to do both, yada, yada, yada. My mother goes behind my back, tells my nephew, why are you listening to him? You could go to Kutztown. That's a college. I'm going to give you $5,000 not to listen to your uncle. Okay, now that's a lot of money back in 90, whatever. It's still a lot of money. Imagine in the 90s how much money that was, right? So thank God for Bobby Apgar, because without Bobby Apgar, the legend dairy athlete out of the University of Rhode Island, I would have never, ever pulled this off, because that's why I have to bully, because you got so much things pulling kids to be regular. Why would you go? Why do you want to go up to Maine for college? You can go right here to Allentown at Kutztown, and then you could just be home with us every weekend. You could just be like us. So it's hard to break that chain without a little bit of go. You got to get at them, right? You can't let them know that it's okay. It's not okay to be regular. You're not going to step into your purpose, right? And all the things that go with that. So we're able to get Jermaine Moore up to Maine Central Institute. He came out of there. He had multiple offers again. And he also got to grow, and his network grew because he was able to play ball with like Karan Butler, who had a 15-year NBA career, a couple other people. So he's made some great friends along the way. And then the story continues for him because he left Maine and he had to go to junior college because our football coach at Easton High School that my nephew wanted to stay at. This is interesting. He's a star athlete, the number one athlete at the time of this. He had a 3.9, 1,500 SATs out of 60. So he's a bright kid. His senior year, and you got, Kristen, you know this because you went to Easton, I believe. His senior year, he only had 3 classes. The rest he spent in the cafeteria chilling. Okay, he didn't have to go. He had all his credits. Okay, now, at the time, his guidance counselor was Bill Ryder, my linebacker coach. Okay, now how does your football coach who's been there for 25 years or more mess up someone with a 3.9, 1,500 SATs who already is getting Division I offers? How does he not have enough science classes to graduate? It ain't hard to count. 1 in 9th grade, 1 in 10th, 1 in 11th, and 1 in 12th. It ain't that difficult. How is that hard at all? Right? You only need 4, right? You need 1 every year. So that was the stuff that you learn as you go, and then why you have to bully, right? Because even if my nephew would have went to UF because they messed up that science class, he would have had to sit out. It was Prop 48 back then. He would have Prop 48 someone with 1,500 SAT score. And we didn't even know about that. So that's another thing I learned as I go. I need them transcripts up front, right? Yeah. Because I can't trust your coach. You could tell me your mom was the coach. I don't care. I need to see with my own eyes. So that's what
we just gave everybody a glimpse, though, D, into that layer that you dive into. Cut to the chase. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's get to where you need to get to, right? Because I wanted people to feel like we talked about authenticity. I mean, I think you put it on full display just then, right? Because it's lived with the family. You know what I mean? And then you're taking that and giving it to other people.
Listen, anybody want to work with me, I'm going to tell you right now, don't come at me trying to be regular. You weren't designed that way. You don't need me. You don't want to work with me if you want to be regular. If your mom and dad want you to be regular, you're going to know if you come to me, your mom and dad are not going to always be happy with me, because I got to you're my client, the student, and I got to get you to, like, one of the things I always tell parents is your kids have to be better than you. Like, why? What's the purpose if they're not striving to dominate you and be way better than you? And if you got teenage daughters, they should always be telling you, I'm better than you, right? Because that's how the girls are. They're mean at that age. They just go through a mean phase. But whatever, I'm just joking. My point is, you work with me, my job is to make your student better than you. They should have more wealth, they should have more everything. And if that's going to take pressure from me, it's going to take pressure. I can't do it without applying some pressure and digging into your psychic. I could probably do it more sensitive by saying you have to read Operate Unlocked. And you know, before we talk, and I could be sensitive, but I don't want to be sensitive. But
You know, your reference to Operate Unlocked and was on the highway. Come on now, giving me the hardcore. Listen, you said,
I got you.
like you said, don't
You're
come to me
breaking
if
up a
you want
little
to be
bit, but I
regular.
heard.
Yeah, you said don't come to me if you want to be regular. I had to pull up my website because it's so funny because my website, first thing you see is if you don't like that winning feeling, then you came to the wrong place.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Troy, you hit
That's
your people like
biblical.
that?
That's biblical. Excellence. We strive in excellence in
Facts.
all we do. That's biblical.
All right,
You know,
let me
that's
tell you
biblical.
one of my other problems real quick. We got time. Boom. My other problem is, and why I call myself Dr. Double Black, is because I've been doing this since 1991. My first student was half white, half black. If that, I dropped another seed. I'm a little hint to you, Kristen. So my first client ever in 1991 was half white, half black. Since that time, I've probably worked with 3 white students. Yeah, 3. Like, I mean, like just all white, half white, a lot, but just all white, 3. In that time, I probably talked to 1,000, 3, right? And so what I've come to the conclusion is in America, right? We already know the effects of racism, things like that. But I don't think that's it. I don't think they say, oh, I ain't working with black. Hey, look at him, he's brown, he's black. I don't know. I don't do that. I don't think that's it. I think in their home, their standards are different. Like they just have different standards. So if I went to your home, Kristen, and I talk to your students, they're already unlocked. I mean, your children are unlocked, right? But their standards are going to be of excellence. Other people's homes, that's not the standard. Their standard is, well, he has to find out what they want to do, and you know, they need it's more like okay, and let him figure it out. It's not like, oh, let's go get it. Right. So I've learned that over time is just so my message doesn't speak to them because it's not on their frequency, right? My frequency different. So I'm not reaching them because we ain't talking the same frequency. To my belief, it's not the same frequency. I don't think it's a color thing. I don't think he's black and we can't hear him. He calls himself Dr. Double Black and all that. I don't think that's it. I think it's their view of the world is just slightly different, right? And how they run their home is slightly different. I've never like in our home, it's like my children know I expect them to be their best version of all times and have high aspirations for themselves and set plans for themselves to be great. I don't think that happens in other folks' homes. They don't think that way. No?
Here, really quickly on that.
Mhm.
I hear you, right? But you know, we're
I
on
like
here. We
that butt.
challenge.
Give me that butt.
We
Challenge.
challenge each other. We challenge each other. We
Let's
not like it was
challenge.
authentic.
Challenge.
We ain't playing
Mhm.
around. Like I believe that what you said may be 100% true, but from a marketing and business and promotion standpoint, I believe it's irrelevant, right? I believe if people think you can get the result that they want It don't matter the price, the color, the frequency, anything.
Well,
It's
this is
just
what I'm getting, Troy. Okay. I'm going to give you hard examples. I'm trying to be very sensitive here. I'm trying to be politically correct. Here's the real fact. So, give you an example. I have an amazing brother named Richard Stanton. He's out in Minnesota. Richard is he actually at Liberty University, Liberty high school graduate. And Rick has called me for the last 10 years every time he has a student that needs him, right? So Rick is like a cultural family advocate in the state of Minnesota for the longest time. He's now one of my business partners. And Mr. Stanton will call me religiously every time a student came into his house that had potential, that came to talk to him about college, things like that, right? And every single time we would bring in that particular kid's college counselor so that they will be aware of it because he's working within the school system and has worked that. So I'm going to tell you the first time he's ever done it. So calls me, said, I want you to meet with this kid, Jeremiah Jean. And I say his name because he's on my website, giving videos on our website of Jeremiah. So Jeremiah comes, he has a 4.0, he's a sophomore, and he wants to go into the state of Minnesota's PSEO program, which means that every single student in the state of Minnesota that got a 3.0, they no longer have to go to high school. They can start college. I'm going to say that again for the people listening. If you send your kids in the state of Minnesota after 9th grade, really, but 10th grade, they have a 3.0, every single college course in the state of Minnesota is free. So parents, if you want free college, I'm going to get you 2 years. Let's go ahead and move your kid out there. All right. So that's one thing. Right. And for the parents to be like, oh, no, he needs to stay here, go to the high school. Well, when high school's over, remember that bill is going to come and you're going to be paying for college. So you can make that decision with your wallet, however you wish. But let's move on. So anyway, Rick calls me. It's like, hey, I got a 4.0 kid. I want to put him in PSEO. I just want you to meet him. I'm going to bring the counselor. Okay. So here I'm in a call like this. I got Jeremiah Jean and his family. I got Rick and the counselor. Okay. Trailers. So we're talking about what we want to do. We want to put him in PSEO. He wants to start in the fall. He's going to go there full time, no more high school. So the counselor the whole time is like, oh my God, are you sure you want to do that? Why would you put this kid in a college? What about his friends? He's going to miss all his friends. What about the cafeteria? He's going to miss the cafeteria, right? So she was like, Ann, you remember when you were young and your parents used to say, don't mess up your credit or don't do something wrong. It's going to be on your credit forever. Don't do something wrong. It's going to be on your record forever. So what they do is scare the kids. They'll tell the kids and the parents, because they scare the parents too. Ooh, this is going to be some hard work at the community college. I don't know if he could do it. And if he gets an F, it's going to be on his permanent record forever. Okay? So they say all those things to scare him. Then, after the phone call, right? So the father is like, yeah, well, we still want to do it. After the phone call, the lady who joined us, their counselor, their college counselor, she runs right to the principal. Oh my God, Mr. Stanton, Richard Stanton, the guy who introduced me, he's having our students talk to outside consultants. Now, remember, the student was on the phone with his father. So it wasn't like it was the student without the parents, right? Oh my God, he's trying to get them to go to college. Oh my God, I think we should get Mr. Stanton fired. She tried to get him fired because he was helping the 4.0 African-American student who wanted to start college early, right? Now, that's just one example. I got about 50 of them, right? But that's one. So then, not only did she try to get Mr. Stanton fired, she reached out to the parents again, but we had this my brother. We had great relationships, well, especially Mr. Stanton with the parents. But she reached out to the parents and tried to encourage him and said, "You shouldn't listen to Mr. Stanton or Mr. Moore. Listen to me." Yo, I'm like, this is insane. So the father didn't listen to, took our coaching and counsel. And his son, who got a testimony on my webpage, he graduated high school with his associate's. He graduated with his associate's degree, right? He has his associate's degree. He wrote a book. Y'all you should check out his book too. He wrote a book, and now he's in his junior year of college when his friends are starting freshman. And they pay for all of that. So like I just haven't had success with that.
So
But
Derek, I
have
hear all that.
success with my people.
I hear all that, and I appreciate that. But I'm coming from just a marketing and business standpoint, and
Okay.
all I'm saying is, um, while all data is important, I believe that the racial component data is not that important that you should be spending that much energy on your focus. Hey, I'm taking all kids. If most of the kids come to me black, all black, so be
I
it. I'm not gonna, but I wouldn't
I feel
speak.
you. I
I
hear you.
wouldn't speak. I wouldn't personally. We do what we want to do. It's your business. But me, I wouldn't personally speak, say in my marketing and in my stuff to the world. I wouldn't say, and forgive me for saying it this way, but work with the black kids, white kids. I don't know. They don't like me, so I'm gonna work with the black kids because that's kind of what comes off, right? And
I'm
I'm
glad
saying,
it comes off like that
but that's my
because
point
that's the
is,
reality. No, I wanted to come
Okay,
off like
but
that.
here's my question. Here's
I
my
wanted to because
question
that's the
to it
fact.
though.
But I hear you,
You
Troy.
know,
I
which
hear
is
you.
no, because that's what your that's your lived experience. So my question though,
Mhm.
really, for me is, who do you want to be your customer? Like who is, because it sounds like you want more than just the black folks to be your customers,
I
which is
would
great. But
love
if it's not, that's okay too. I'm just trying to figure out if what you want, who you want to be your customer.
so. I would love to help all students. So it's ironic, right? So my partner in Minnesota, Mr. Rick Stanton, he's basically a director of diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? That's basically his space. So whenever I say anything like that, he reminds me we need to be inclusive for all. Everything's about all. Everybody, all, everyone, all. Always be welcome, everybody, because of his background, and I respect that, and I am also like that. But from a business strategy, after I look at my numbers, after I say, well, damn, I done did 50 presentations over here, did these over here, and this is the results. When I'm looking at my results, my return on investment from my time and speaking to people and having open houses and people coming and just hearing the questions, it's the only ones that work with me. The only and I'm open to it and I can keep pitching it. I can put a strategy together as far as like what ads I'm using, who we're targeting, what time we're targeting, what areas we're visiting. I'm just telling you from experience. I'm telling you from my track record. I've only worked with three. In the
Well,
three that
I
I've
guess
worked
it just
with,
sound to me it just sounds like you've naturally filtered to your
yeah,
ideal
yeah.
avatar then at
So I
that
don't
point,
know if that's
right?
bad
So I don't
or
know
is
if it's a
that
matter
good.
of screw them. I just think how you how you're delivering it is being received by certain people. That's it.
Mhm.
You know what I
I guess
mean?
my point is, I guess my point is, what do you gain from that data?
So what I gained from that data that okay, this is where my funnel is, right? What I'm filtering down to is 98.9% of my students are African American or African. Actually,
Okay.
it's probably 50-50. It's African and African American.
So you
Okay.
know who you so you know how your message is received. That's what
Mhm.
this is telling you. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it comes down to. Your message is received by who's receiving it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
That's it. You
Mhm.
know, now because now to me, I sense frustration because it's like, to your point, you're here to help all students, and you don't discriminate. We all know that,
Not
right?
at
But
all.
your point is, I'm here to help all, but all aren't
Yeah.
accepting this offer I bring, and that's
Yes.
fine. If I guess to me, from a being an old statistician and all that stuff, from if you want your numbers to change, then change what you're doing, try different messages if you want to get other people to receive it, or change where you're giving your message. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It could be where you're giving your message. I don't know, because I'm in your business like that, but we know what each other does, what we all do. I'm just saying, if you really want more and you're not seeing it, then how you deliver the message may have to change if you're trying to grab. I'm not saying change your message. I'm saying, if you're in a certain spot, you already know how that's going to come across. If you want different, then you have to be different. Now, if you don't want to be different, then don't be different. You know what I mean?
So for me, what I've decided to do is my door is open for all, right? But my message is going to stay the same. It's going to
Yeah.
become clearer. Yeah, but like right now, I got to take that back because I do have um, families that are not African right now that are like signed up and I'm working with. Um, like three, right now, current. Um, and it's going well. So we'll see if that expands to additional business referrals, things like that. But I like my lane because truthfully, like I've mentioned to you guys before, my big picture item is I want my own historical Black high school that's elite, right? And I'm not talking about, hey, I moved to a Black neighborhood and the school's all Black. I'm talking about a private high school for Blacks, right? And preferably, if I could partner with a university like Howard University, if I could partner with any HBCU and just have like a filter school, you know what I mean, a pipeline school, or something that's connected. So you're going to find this going more and more in the future. But schools like FAU, they have FAU High School. Stanford University has Stanford University High School, right? So this is going to happen more and more in the future as colleges at the higher level become more innovative, right? Because it's a problem with the colleges being innovative because of all the crap that goes on and they already got their hands full. But truthfully, all the colleges, if they don't have a strong online component right now, that with future plans to move into a high school that filters right to their college, they're behind. And I had this conversation back with Penn State. He was before Penn State Global, right? And challenge within the universities is one, they're hiring people that check boxes instead of innovative, right? Education has to be innovative. It can't stay the same. It has to be innovative, right? So any distant education department or program, that's innovative. Just the word having it distant is innovative in itself because you need special tools and things to make it work. But I just foresee in the future that all colleges, their online is really going to be more prevalent and dominant than their main campus because if they have any kind of business sense, and they don't, not all of them, don't put that on them, don't project that onto them. If you've ever dealt with Howard University's administration, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's the worst, but it's still one of my favorite institutions. But they know what they know, but the innovative stuff is missing. And they just need to be more innovative in their approach. Because I just had a discussion with someone about Howard University. They had 30,000 applicants, accepted 2,500 people that wanted to give them 100,000 a year. Okay. So to me, from a business perspective, and you guys probably already see this, well, what are you doing with the other 28,000 applicants? Right? You just going to let 28,000 times 100,000 a year go out the window? Like that's not business. That don't make no business sense at all. Somebody taught them that was okay. That is not okay. When you got alumni, you're begging for money to make donations. When you had 28,000 people begging to give you 100,000 a year so their student could go there, you have to make room for that. This is revenue. It's a capitalistic place. These are private institutions. They have to make room. You have alumni at Howard, for example, that are jobless. Elon Musk came and cut all them federal jobs, right? Cut all them jobs. You got 100,000, over 100,000 Black women unemployed. You gonna tell me they can't teach an online course at Howard, and you can't make room for 20? Like, that's the business disconnect, right? Mm-hmm. So, but that's the space I worked in. So I don't want to take the floor too much, but that's where I'm going with my business down the road. So God lets me live long enough, I will have my high school. Hopefully it's attached to a HBCU, so I could just filter kids and try to grow that out.
That vision, brother. Love that vision.
No doubt. Well, I think we had a lot of authenticity today, Troy.
Yeah,
across the board. So yeah, but we got to wrap it up. Go ahead. I'll let you take us out, Troy. What you
take us out, T.
Yeah. So what's up, everybody? You've just been part of Word is Bond, our show. What you working on? We talked about a lot. We're here every Wednesday, 10 Pacific and 1 Eastern. We look forward to seeing you guys. Comment, like, subscribe, and do all that YouTube-y stuff. And until next week, peace.
Deuce. Kristen, what's that on your left shoulder? Dream big, Clemson. I just saw that.
Yeah.
I just saw that.
Keep the Clemson joint on there.
Nah, I love the dream big.
I'm holla at y'all.
Are you out? Yes, deuces.